Now on Good Morning America, first look, an about-face from President Trump and the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. What he's now urging Republicans to do as he escalates attacks on former ally Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Southern California is bracing for more rain after the historic stretch of weather now blamed for multiple deaths, including a little girl swept out to sea.
The U.S. military escalates its show of force off Venezuela and carries out another attack on alleged drug smugglers. But this morning, a sign the Maduro regime may be ready for talks.
The investigation into the gambling scandal in the NBA now expanding. What we're learning. Plus, an ABC News exclusive. We're hearing from a college athlete accused of so-called point shaving in another alleged betting scheme.
3 decades after the trial that saw him acquitted, what O.J. Simpson's estate is now agreeing to do.
Your money, how tariffs are affecting everything from your Thanksgiving dinner to Black Friday sales this year.
Later, the Florida man accused of opening fire at a bar in a dispute over chickens.
And the most bizarre play off the field Sunday. Josh Allen establishing a real connection with a teammate.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Maggie Rulli. We begin with a major development in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
With a vote in Congress looming tomorrow, an about-face from President Trump overnight, he's now urging Republicans to support releasing the Epstein files. It comes as Trump faces a growing rift within his own party. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
Overnight, a major reversal from President Trump.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. Bill Clinton is the one there supposedly 28 times.
Trump last night making his new position clear. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax. It comes ahead of tomorrow's expected vote in the House on a bill that could force the release of all of the Justice Department's files on Epstein. The lead Republican co-sponsor of the bill says more than 100 Republicans may support it.
And you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files. The record of this vote will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
Trump this weekend attacking his former ally, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, calling her a lunatic and a traitor after she supported releasing the files.
I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
Greene saying since Trump's attacks, she's received multiple threats, saying this puts blood in the water and creates a feeding frenzy, and it could ultimately lead to a harmful or even deadly outcome.
I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Trump says he cut ties with Epstein after a decade-long friendship because Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell were luring away women and girls who worked at Mar-a-Lago. Trump claims at the time of Epstein's arrest in 2019, he hadn't spoken with the notorious sex offender in 15 years. But the House Oversight Committee has released documents subpoenaed from Epstein's estate, many of which mention Trump by name, sparking new questions about his relationship with Epstein.
I suffered so much pain.
As pressure mounts, this new video shows 8 Epstein survivors advocating for the release of the files.
I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
The women holding photos of their younger selves, reciting their ages when they met Epstein.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows.
The video ending with this message: 5 administrations and we're still in the dark. Even if the House passes the bill to release the files, it still needs to pass the Senate, where its fate has been unclear. It would then head to President Trump's desk for his signature. Sophie, Maggie?
Allison, thank you. Some good news for travelers. The FAA is ending flight restrictions imposed during the government shutdown. The FAA's order to reduce flights at 40 major airports expires at 6 a.m. Eastern. The cuts were imposed because of air traffic control staffing concerns.
Southern California is bracing for more rain today after some areas saw historic rainfall. Streets turned into rivers and trees fell on cars. One big concern, mudslides in burn scar areas. The weather already proving deadly. A 5-year-old's body has been found after she was swept out to sea in Monterey County. Her father died trying to save her. And near Sacramento, authorities say a man died after floodwaters pushed his car over a bridge.
New tensions in the Caribbean as the U.S. military escalates its show of force off the coast of Venezuela and carries out another attack on alleged drug smugglers. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Sophie, good morning. Today, the U.S. military begins training exercises with Trinidad and Tobago as a U.S. aircraft carrier moves into the Caribbean, and there are new signs of possible talks with the Maduro regime. This morning, President Trump says the U.S. may hold talks with Venezuela's authoritarian president, Nicolas Maduro.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
It comes as the U.S. mounts a show of force in the region. The Navy releasing this image showing the world's largest and most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, arriving in the Caribbean. It's joined by 3 destroyers, a B-52 bomber, and multiple fighter jets. More than a dozen warships and 15,000 troops are already in the region, part of what the Pentagon has branded Operation Southern Spear. And now the State Department has announced it's designating another cartel as a foreign terrorist organization, even accusing Maduro of leading it himself. The administration releasing this video of its 21st airstrike on alleged drug smuggling boats. President Trump has threatened to go further and strike on Venezuelan soil. But Maduro over the weekend calling for peace, singing the John Lennon song, Imagine. And when asked if he plans to seek congressional approval before any potential military action against Venezuela, Trump said he plans to keep lawmakers informed but will not ask for approval. Maggie.
Nicole, thank you. The federal immigration crackdowns now focusing on Charlotte, North Carolina. Agents arrested more than 80 people, including a man accused of trying to ram a van into a law enforcement vehicle. The suspect is a U.S. citizen. Another U.S. citizen claims agents threw him to the ground after they smashed the window of his truck, demanding proof of his immigration status. In another case, a man allegedly in the country illegally was arrested trying to escape through the ceiling of a hospital.
We're learning more about the betting scandals rocking both professional and college sports. We're now hearing from a college athlete accused of so-called point shaving. But first, developments from the NBA.
This morning, the betting scandal in the NBA appears to be expanding. Reuters reports the league has asked multiple teams, including the Lakers, to turn over phone records.
Pulls up from 13 feet.
A league spokesperson confirming a number of individuals and organizations were asked to preserve documents and records. Sources say 2 Lakers employees, an assistant trainer and an administrator, have been contacted and are cooperating. It comes just weeks after 3 NBA figures, Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, and Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups were indicted in an illegal gambling scheme. Prosecutors say Damon Jones fed confidential injury information to bettors.
Mr. Jones, any comment?
Terry Rozier is accused of tipping off bettors that he would fake an injury.
Terry Rozier, right foot discomfort, doubtful to return.
And Chauncey Billups allegedly helped lure victims into mob-rigged poker games. But the recent betting scandals are not confined to pro sports.
Pass. Hunter once again. This time he hits the three-pointer.
Said Quavius Day Hunter sitting down with Good Morning America's Will Reeve after an NCAA investigation found Hunter and 2 of his University of New Orleans teammates engaged in so-called point shaving, manipulating their on-court performance to influence the outcome of select games for betting purposes.
I did point shave. I mean, I did go out there and not do my best, not playing defense like I used to do.
Investigators say the players even used a code phrase to signal when they were altering their performance. And when Will Reeve asked why he did it, Hunter began breaking down in tears, saying he needed the money.
Much more of Will's exclusive interview later on Good Morning America, including why Hunter said he needed the money for his family.
Time now for your Monday weather.
Good morning. We've been watching our next storm system moving onshore of the California coast. Northern California getting the lion's share of the rainfall overnight, but that'll traverse off to the south during the daylight hours of today, reaching Los Angeles as we head into the afternoon hours. Not going to quite pack the punch that the last system did, but an inch or 2 of rain on top of already saturated soil will cause some problems. By the way, upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevada, and some of that snow will extend into the Rockies near Salt Lake City and toward Aspen, Colorado. Meteorologist Jeff Smith, ABC News.
Coming up, just how hard it's becoming to get a doctor's appointment in parts of the country.
Also ahead, a development in the O.J. Simpson case, what his estate is now agreeing to do.
And later, one of the big NFL highlights yesterday, a fake tush push. Take a look at this. A massive fire at this decommissioned power plant near Galveston, Texas is still smoldering more than 24 hours after it started. All 5 cooling towers are destroyed, but air quality readings are said to be safe. No one was hurt.
A troubling new report details the lack of access to basic medical care in rural areas. The report warns of severe shortages of primary care. It shows nearly 40% of adults in rural towns go to emergency rooms for problems that could have been handled in doctors' offices. And 25% of residents skip needed care because of the cost.
Now to a new development in the O.J. Simpson case 1 year after his death.
This morning, the estate of O.J. Simpson tells ABC it will accept a claim of roughly $58 million from the family of Ron Goldman. But the question remains whether it will ever be paid in full.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
In 1995, Simpson was famously acquitted in the murder trial of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. But O.J. was later found liable for their deaths in a civil trial and was ordered to pay their families more than $33 million. And the interest has been growing ever since. Simpson died of cancer last year at the age of 76. Goldman's family, at the time, said they'd received only a fraction of the money. An auction of O.J.'s belongings earlier this year raised about $300,000. But the executor of his estate, Malcolm Laverne, acknowledged to our Las Vegas affiliate there's a long way to go to cover Simpson's debts.
I'm hoping to get an estate that's somewhere in the neighborhood of close to $500,000. $500,000 compared to $70 million, $80 million with these liens. It's not realistic to think that that judgment is going to be satisfied.
The estate has planned to auction off more of Simpson's belongings, but there's another problem.
After he died, there was this California tax lien that broadsided me.
He says unpaid tax claims in California top $635,000. As for the Goldmans, they've been trying for decades to get what they're owed. In 2007, they were awarded the rights to Simpson's book, If I Did It, which included his so-called hypothetical description of the murders. As for the latest development, the family saying acceptance of the claim is a positive acknowledgement of the debt. However, it does not constitute payment. We will continue to monitor the probate process as it progresses.
The estate plans to pay as much of the judgment to the Goldmans as possible.
Coming up, the NFL player shot outside a restaurant.
Also ahead, how tariffs are affecting everything from your Thanksgiving dinner to Black Friday sales, and when to expect some relief on those prices. On Sunday Night Football, the Eagles proving they're still the team to beat in the NFC. Their defense held Lions quarterback Jared Goff to just 14 completions out of 37. The Eagles won 16-9.
A New York Jets player is hospitalized after being shot outside a New York restaurant. Police say cornerback Chris Boyd was shot in the chest after a dispute and was in critical but stable condition. No arrests have been made.
AAA predicts a record number of people will be traveling for Thanksgiving. More than 6 million Americans are expected to fly. That's up 2% this year. And about 1 million more people are expected to hit the roads this year.
From holiday travel to holiday prices, many things will be more expensive this year.
The holidays are right around the corner, and for many consumers, the cost of celebrating will be higher this year. One survey showing a basket of 17 popular Thanksgiving items in New York is up from about $135 last year to $158 this year. The report also finding some sharp individual spikes, yam prices jumping a whopping 188%. Other parts of the country are seeing prices on par or slightly lower than last year, as retailers like Target and Kroger lower prices on specific food items. Inflation and tariffs have driven up the cost on some everyday items. The White House now moving to ease some of that pressure.
From an economic standpoint, our prices are coming down very substantially on groceries and things.
The president cutting back his tariffs on more than 200 goods, from coffee and beef to bananas.
The prices will go down, of course, but
because the tariffs have been taken off.
Right. Well, because the supply of the goods into the U.S. is going to increase.
But these high prices are not limited to the grocery store. The cost of holiday shopping also feeling that pinch this year. Some business owners say steeper tariffs are raising their costs, giving them less room to roll out Black Friday sales. And if you're buying an artificial Christmas tree, expect to pay more this year, up to 15% more. Nearly all fake trees are imported from China, and tariffs are raising prices. The Treasury Secretary says Americans should begin to see relief from the administration's cost of living efforts early next year.
Americans are going to feel it in the first quarter, second quarter. I think 2026,
thanks to President Trump's signature plans, is going to be a great year for working Americans, for the markets.
The tariff rollbacks could slightly lower costs, but some experts say that's up to retailers.
Coming up, the most bizarre play from the NFL yesterday.
Plus, a big honor for Tom Cruise and Dolly Parton. Time to check the pulse, and we begin with the most bizarre play off the field during Sunday's NFL action.
Yeah, look at this. Josh Allen, he made a real connection. After celebrating his second touchdown of the day, Allen shared a headbutt with teammate Gabe Davis, but their helmets did not want the moment to end. Their face masks wound up fused together. Allen tried to move on without the helmet. Like a little helmet kiss.
Yeah, he passed for 3 touchdowns and ran 3 touchdowns in the Bills' win. Some trickery in Cleveland. The Ravens set up for a push-tush, but instead, Mark Andrews took his backside and everything else to the end zone for a touchdown. In addition to the score, he was clocked at the top speed of his career, more than 20 miles per hour. Next, another huge donation from Mackenzie Scott.
Yeah, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos is giving $130 million to 3 historically black colleges and universities. Now that means her total donations to historically black schools will top $700 million. She's also revealing her inspiration for her generosity. She says back in college, her roommate gave her a $1,000 loan, and that was what prevented her from dropping out. So now she says she's paying it forward. Next, an honorary Oscar for some Hollywood heavyweights.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, Dolly Parton, Debbie Allen, and production designer Wynn Thomas just received the Governor's Awards from the Motion Picture Academy. All 4 were recognized for their commitment to the industry. Dolly Parton could not attend, but released a video discussing the importance of giving back.
My mom and daddy showed me, by example, that the more you give, the more blessings come your way. And I've tried my whole life to live by their example. And I've been blessed.
Fans have been worried about Dolly's health, but a source says she's getting better every day.
Thank goodness.
Yes. And finally, a debate over chickens leading to an arrest at a bar in Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Police say the suspect was arguing with another man over how many eggs a chicken can lay. Well, things got so heated, the man pulled out a gun and fired 4 shots. Now, thankfully, nobody was hurt. That's why we can joke about this. But what an absurd reason to fire your weapon.
Close one. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, a reversal from President Trump. He's now urging House Republicans to vote in favor of releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. The turnaround coming as a large number of GOP lawmakers are expected to vote for the release of the documents. A House vote is expected tomorrow.
The FAA is grounding more planes after that deadly UPS plane crash in Kentucky. It already grounded MD-11s. Now it's grounding various models of MD-10s and DC-10s as the investigation continues.
Fierce clashes in Mexico City, where a so-called Gen Z protest took to the streets, protesting corruption and violence in Mexico. 120 people were injured.
SpaceX launched a new research satellite from California overnight, part of a mission to monitor changes in rising sea levels, a key indicator of climate change.
Today's weather, more heavy rain and mountain snow in California, dry and cool in the Midwest, pleasant in the South, cool and blustery in the Northeast.
And finally, the resume seen around the world.
Danny New reports on the job search gone viral.
Thanks to this moment, millions of people are now obsessed with the resume of one man, Scott Kelly.
Monday, I got a message from a buddy of mine while I was sitting in class saying, "Hey, dude, you're going famous on TikTok."
This video was taken by Jen Wilson at a Jonas Brothers concert in Buffalo last week, when she and her friend noticed that the man in front of them was, instead of singing along, scrolling through a PDF of this Army veteran's job history.
I thought to myself, like, this is the stuff you see on the internet. Like, this isn't something you see in real life. And also, we're at a Jonas Brothers concert.
A week later, the video now has more than 50 million views on TikTok, with commenters rooting for Scott's prospects. Even Nick Jonas trying to hype up Scott, saying his work ethic and critical thinking inspired one of their song lyrics. Even though, brace for this, Scott says he had never actually heard of the Jonas Brothers.
I'm not judging. There are things I don't know all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you not know who they were?
Yeah, pop culture has never been my strong suite.
Not only that, Scott says he had not actually applied for any jobs. His resume had just gotten into the hands of another veteran named Brandon, who tries to hire local veterans in the area. In fact,
he and I served in the Army together, actually way back in the day.
Well, Scott has also made some new friends, too, getting to actually hang out with the Jonas Brothers after appearing on The Tonight Show together on Friday.
Got a selfie together, and they said, hey, if you ever want tickets, we're going to stitch you up with our team.
And he now is a connection for life with Jen, whom he chatted with over video for the first time during our interview.
I am grateful for Jen, and I think a lot of good's ultimately going to come of this whole thing.
So for the record, guys, Scott says he is happily employed, but he says his LinkedIn has been blowing up and, quote, it's hard to ignore good opportunities, so he's reading them a little bit.
So good, Danny. Thank you. That's your Good Morning America First Look.
The ladies are back tomorrow. Have a great day.